What is going on, wonderful viewers of YouTube? It's your boy VAR coming at you with a brand new video. And if you know me, you know that I love film in every way possible. I've gone to the New York Film Academy for 2 years. I watch films like almost constantly. I have been making my own films now. I script write all the time. I have so many ideas. So I thought for a fun video I would share some of my unpopular film opinions. Now, let me say this real quick. These are my opinions, okay? You do not have to agree with me. These are just my personal preferences, okay? Don't get triggered, alright? Without any further ado, let's get into it. I feel as if Jordan Peele is this generation's early M. Night Shyamalan. When M. Night Shyamalan was making The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, that's kind of like Jordan Peele now. Not genre-wise, but like quality-wise, with us, with Jordan Peele creating Us and Get Out. I feel like that, I just hope that Jordan Peele doesn't go down the same route as Shyamalan, making some not as well films later on in his career. I hope Jordan Peele consistently makes like Us or Get Out level films. In my opinion, there can be such thing as a perfect film, and I feel like Psycho is perfect. There are very few films that I consider perfect, and Psycho is one of them. Honestly, just watch Psycho. It really is perfect. Aladdin is the best Disney film. Not the live action one, but the original. The story is awesome, the characters are great, the songs slap, and Robin Williams as the genie is just perfect casting. He was amazing, and I honestly think that Aladdin is a bit underrated. I just feel like Aladdin is the best Disney film. I have a problem with the Academy. The Academy, you know, the people who pick the best picture winners, best animated feature winners every year, the people who like decide who wins the Oscars every year, basically. I have a problem with them. I feel like they're biased. I feel like they look for art films and don't give many genres a chance. Just recently, I feel like they've been nominating superhero films, and they definitely have not been nominating horror films, and there are a lot of horror films that I feel deserve at least a nomination. I feel in the span of how long the Oscars have been going on, only one horror film has won Best Picture, and that was Silence of the Lambs. And I feel like there are a lot better horror films that deserve Best Picture of that year. Now, I'm not saying A Nightmare on Elm Street should have won. I'm not saying Halloween, well, maybe Halloween should have won. I'm just saying, like, maybe like Psycho or maybe The Conjuring. The Conjuring is pretty damn good. I don't know what these were going up against, but I feel like that they were pretty good contenders for at least nominations. And I feel like as if this year Lupita Nyong'o should win Best Actress for Us. I don't know how likely that will be, though. Kill Bill has the best music in a Tarantino film. I think, just in my opinion, I haven't seen all of Tarantino's films. I've seen most of them, though, and out of all of them, I think Kill Bill Volume 1 has the best music. I love the music in Pulp Fiction. I think it's great, but I think Kill Bill is even better, you know. Twisted Nerve, the song that Elle Driver whistles when she's walking through the hospital. Lost Shepherd, I think that's what it's called, Lost Shepherd, when she's being presented her samurai sword towards the third act. And the first song, Bang Bang, is just amazing in every way, and I think how the film was set up and the music accompanying it was very well. Miyazaki is one of the most underrated directors ever, and just filmmakers ever. I feel like, I don't know how popular he is over in Japan, but over here in America, I don't know about other countries, but here in America, I feel like he's not talked about enough. I feel like this guy is like Spielberg, should be like Spielberg level all over. I feel like he is in Japan, but I feel like he should be here too, and in all countries. His movies are just so amazing in every way. Like, he has created some of the best films of all time. He is just an impeccable film director, an impeccable filmmaker, and he should be regarded as one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. I know these are cash grabs, but I enjoy most of the live-action Disney remakes. I know they're cash grabs, I know they don't need to be made, but I enjoy them for what they are. I enjoyed Aladdin, I enjoyed Lion King, I enjoyed Beauty and the Beast. Dumbo, though. Dumbo was hard to get through. In my opinion, The Last House on the Left, the original, is harder to watch than any of the Saw films, and here's why. Saw depends on gore, and I get if you're a bit queasy, you can that can be very effective for you. And I think Saw is good. Like the first one is good, nothing like maybe like a 6 out of 10, and the rest just declined from there. Saw was never a really good franchise to begin with, but Last House on the Left just seems more real. Like it seems like real things happening to real people, and it's just like it's really hard to watch. And Saw is just like if you get through the gory parts, like even after that, if you're like queasy and you get through the gory parts, you should be fine. The Last House on the Left just makes you feel uncomfortable makes you feel very uncomfortable while watching it. A very underrated 80s horror film that I don't hear people talking about enough is Fright Night. I watched Fright Night for the first time a couple months ago, and I loved it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, and maybe it's just because I didn't know anything about it going in. But Fright Night is just an awesome time all around. It's honestly an 8 out of 10, and I feel like more people should be watching Fright Night. Gone with the Wind has one of, if not the most beautiful film scores of all time. It was made back in 1939, and Gone with the Wind, the first time I heard that terrorist theme, it moved me on a way that like no other film score has ever done before. Honestly, just go on YouTube or wherever, Spotify, it's on Spotify, I don't know if it's on SoundCloud, just anywhere where you could find music, and listen to Terrace theme, put on some headphones. It's amazing, just the strings in it, and just the way it's composed is perfect, really. It's phenomenal. Going back to Psycho, the biggest upset of all time is Psycho not winning Best Picture it came out in 1960, so it'd be the 1961 Oscars. I get that it wasn't that well received when it first came out, but honestly I feel like it still should have won. It lost against what, The Apartment? I mean, come on. Psycho is honestly one of, if not the best film of all time, and how did it lose against The Apartment? Something that people aren't talking about anymore. Still talking about Psycho though. I mean, there's a whole documentary dedicated to just the shower scene, so you can see which one's the better movie over time. In my opinion, I think It Chapter 1 and 2 are equally good. I hear a lot of people saying that Chapter 2 was worse than Chapter 1, but I found both of them like at the same level of quality. I enjoyed both of them. I thought they were both the same. I gave them both an 8 out of 10. I thought they were both very good. I don't think Green Book should have won Best Picture. I've watched it. I expected a lot better, if I'm being honest. I didn't really like it. I mean, it was good. It was like an 8 out of 10, but from like the way people were like hyping it up, like I really didn't think that it should have won Best Picture. I feel like BlacKkKlansman, or maybe even Bohemian Rhapsody should have won. I don't think Black Panther should have won, but I feel like BlacKkKlansman should have won, just because out of all the movies, I feel like I like that one the best. I would say Bohemian Rhapsody should have won, but I feel like BlacKkKlansman beats it by just a little bit. And I feel like a lot of critics didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody that much, but I just don't think Green Book should have won. If I would put my vote in for BlacKkKlansman. The first two Conjuring movies were good, but now I feel like they're all just becoming cash grabs. I mean, Conjuring 1 was terrific, Conjuring 2 was terrific. I feel like 2 is even better than the first one. But I feel like anything that was not directed by James Wan has just been a cash grab. Like Annabelle, I heard Annabelle 2 was good, I haven't seen it. Annabelle 3, The Nun, upcoming Conjuring verse spin-off movies. I feel like they're all just like cash grabs now, and that's kind of upsetting because this series was off at such a well start. I just don't want it to deteriorate. I just hope Conjuring 3 is as good as the first two, because the case that they're using is actually a house that's maybe 10 minutes from mine, and I'm really excited to see that story in my neighborhood basically, so I really hope it's like as good as the first and second. Same thing I said with Hayao Miyazaki. Studio Ghibli in general, I feel like isn't as well known here in America, and I feel like a lot more people should be watching Studio Ghibli films. I feel like over here people should be watching Studio Ghibli films as much as Pixar or Disney. I feel like they should be that well known over here. I mean, they've made like, I still love Disney, And I feel like Studio Ghibli is better. Like when Marnie was there, My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, all amazing films, and I think that Studio Ghibli should be just as well known over here as Disney or Pixar. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man film. I liked it a lot more than any other Spider-Man film. I just think it's the best. The Renaissance era is the best era of Disney. From 89 to 99, I think we've had some of the most classic Disney films of all time. In my opinion, I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is overrated. I watched it. It was good. That's about it. I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. I have a problem with found footage films, such as the Blair Witch Project. I feel like the Blair Witch Project was the first to do the whole found footage, like first person point of view type film, and I get like the concept is, I feel like the concept is very creative, and I could give it that, but I don't think the films themselves are that good. Like, I feel like the reason the Blair Witch Project is so well known because the internet was a new thing and it was reported as like a real case. The actors who were in the film had to like stay at home for a long time just to like kind of get the public to be like, wait, is this real or not? And there's a whole like controversy on whether or not it was real. But films such as like The Gallows, others I don't really want to talk about, like this 2016 Blair Witch remake or sequel or whatever, I just don't like them. I think they're bad. Studio Ghibli doesn't make films, they make pieces of art. Like, their films are art. There are some films where I'm like, they're like, some of the best films aren't necessarily films, they're a work of art, and like almost all the Studio Ghibli films I've seen so far have been works of art. Good horror films have actual scares. They actually build tension. They're not just all jump scares and gore. I do think jump scares and gore can be done correctly though. Most films don't use them correctly. They just use them as cheap scares to make the audience feel like scared for a moment, and then that's the end of it. Like with jump scares. Like, you feel scared for a moment, that's it. There's a correct way to do them, I will give you that, but most films don't do it correctly. I feel like Black Swan is extremely underrated. I watched this film for the first time like a month ago. I was like really floored with it. It was not what I expected, but I really loved it, and I feel like more people should be talking about it, and not enough people are. Like, it's just a really great movie. Watch Black Swan if you're in the mood for like some kind of like eerie, suspenseful drama about ballet. Watch Black Swan. Talking about another Studio Ghibli film, When Marnie Was There should have won Best Animated Feature over Inside Out. Well, I feel like most critics think that When Marnie Was There is one of Studio Ghibli's best films, so I feel like hardcore Studio Ghibli fans feel like it's the worst. I really enjoyed When Marnie Was There. I think it's like, honestly, a 10. Like, for me, I just want to clarify this, I can give something a 10, but that doesn't mean they're flawless. They do have flaws, but When Marnie Was There impacted me in such a way that I feel like I gave it a 10, and I just love that film so much, and I feel like it definitely should have won Best Animated Feature over Inside Out. And it's a shame that only Spirited Away has won Best Animated Feature. I think Spirited Away should have won Best Picture of that year. Animated films do get nominated for Best Picture, which I feel like some people don't know, and I feel like Spirited Away should have won Best Picture, and When Marnie Was There definitely should have won Best Animated Feature that year. Unfriended has a good concept, such as like what I said before with like the Blair Witch Project. How I like the whole like computer screen. Like, it's a creative idea, like with what Unfriended 1 and 2 did, but the movies just suck. They're not executed correctly, and they could have been, but they're not, which is a shame. In my opinion, I feel like Star Wars: A New Hope is better than Empire Strikes Back. I know a lot of people say Empire Strikes Back is better, and I feel like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back are both 10s, but I feel like A New Hope is better. Classic horror films are never going to die. They're not going to die for a long time. There will always be sequels. Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Child's Play, on just honestly they're gonna go on forever. Like they're always gonna keep making sequels just because they're of die-hard horror fans. Halloween was supposed to end so many times, and now she was supposed to end so many times. Like all these films were supposed to end, but they keep getting like TV shows and remakes and reboots and sequels and spin-offs and just all of that, and like they're never really going to die, like for a while at least. Like I'm gonna take Child's Play for an example. Child's Play, the original story, Child's Play story is still going on, yet it's getting a TV show and it just got a remake, and the remake could get a sequel. So we still have the original Child's Play timeline going on. We have the possible remake timeline that could be happening, and we have the TV show that I think it's getting. So honestly, that's just crazy. Everybody loves talking about The Room. Everybody loves talking about how bad The Room is. I think that The Room is not the worst movie ever. Is it a bad film? You bet your dollar bills it is, but I don't think it's the worst movie ever. I've seen movies that are worse than The Room. Leonardo DiCaprio is at least good in everything he's in. I have not seen all of his films, but the films that I have seen him in, he has been superb, and he is just an excellent actor. Going back to Studio Ghibli, I just love talking about Studio Ghibli. Movies like Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro should be shown to kids, not Minions. I feel like kids should grow up on fantastic films such as My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. Maybe they won't get it until they're a lot old. They won't get it fully until they're a lot older, but they will still enjoy them more than Minions or just garbage movies like that. Like, please, new parents, show your children Studio Ghibli films. They will like them. I don't know how much of an unpopular opinion this is, but I have heard a lot of people say that Avengers Infinity War is better than Endgame, but I strongly disagree with that. Endgame is hands down better than Infinity War, and I think it's the best MCU film. This next one is going to be a very hot take, a very unpopular opinion. But in my opinion, remember that. In my opinion, I think Kill Bill is better than Pulp Fiction. I think Kill Bill is the best Tarantino film. I haven't seen all of Tarantino's films. I have seen most, but I feel like Kill Bill is Volume 1 is better than Pulp Fiction. I love Pulp Fiction and I love Kill Bill, but I just think Kill Bill is better. Just as I was talking about Infinity War and Endgame, I know that Disney just wanted to re-release Endgame just to beat Avatar for highest grossing film of all time. Everyone can see right through that. But I feel like instead of just re-releasing scenes, I think they should have added on extra scenes in Endgame. But I feel like they should have done an Infinity War Endgame supercut. You might be thinking, who would sit through that? I would sit through that in a heartbeat. That would be amazing. I just feel like that's what Disney should have done. I just feel like that's what Marvel should have done. I don't know how much of an unpopular opinion this is either, but Bird Box is trash. I hear a lot of people like this movie. I don't know why. It's bad. It's very bad. Just please don't watch it. A lot of critics really don't like the first Cars movie. I don't get that. I enjoy Cars a lot. I don't think it's as good as other Pixar films that came out around there, like Finding Nemo or Monsters Inc. or The Incredibles. Do I think it's as good as those films? No, it's definitely the worst out of those four. But critics say that it's horrible, and I don't really think it is. I think Cars is a good movie. Speaking of Pixar, the first Toy Story film, oof, it does not hold up. I get it's a good film still, but holy God, it does not hold up. It looks very bad. Heath Ledger's Joker is the best comic book villain of all time, better than Thanos. He might be the best villain of all time. I'm not gonna count Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but another unpopular opinion. Well, I don't know. Joker has only been out for a couple days at this point, but I feel like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is the best Joker. I was honestly floored by his performance, and if he does not get Best Actor this year, I'm going to be very upset. I do think that Heath Ledger is the best comic book villain, but I feel like Joker really isn't a comic book movie. It's more of like a drama, origin story film, And I get he's like the bad guy of the film, but he's also our protagonist. Now, protagonists always don't have to be good. They can be bad, but he was good in the beginning, and I don't really like. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. So that's why I say that Heath Ledger's Joker is still the best like villain in any comic book film. But I feel like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is the best version of the Joker. A very underrated recent horror film to come out is Lights Out. It came out a couple years ago. Now, with all the trash horror films that have been coming out, this one was not talked about that much. And honestly, people should go see Lights Out. Isn't that anything like, is it gonna blow your socks off? No, but like compared to a lot of modern horror films, it's pretty good. I was really surprised by it. I really liked it. In my opinion, the Stranger Things kids are only getting more popular. The show's getting more popular. They're getting more popular, and they're gonna be. I thought they were popular in season 1 and 2, but like the level they're at now is crazy. Finn, I went on Saint Laurent, and the first thing I see is Finn Wolfhard looking right back at me. Finn Wolfhard model for Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent. And I'm like, that's crazy. What other gigs are these kids gonna get? It's crazy. Unpopular opinion. Disney is not ruining Star Wars, okay? 7 was good. 8 was good. I feel like 9's gonna be awesome. Solo wasn't really that great if I'm being honest, but Rogue One was even good. I liked Rogue One. 7 is they're not. I feel like Star Wars fans go a little bit too hard. Just watch the movie for what it is. They're really good movies. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man films don't hold up that well. I feel like they're very cheesy. That's really all I have to say. Okay, unpopular opinion for older movie watchers out there. I feel like Vertigo is just a bit overrated. Leading up to Vertigo, I heard, oh, it's the best Hitchcock film, it's better than Psycho, and I'm like, better than Psycho? Psycho's like the perfect film. How can it be better than Psycho? So going into it, I'm like, alright, I'm so excited to see what this is all about. And I was kind of let down by it. I'm not saying Vertigo is a bad movie and anything. No, it's a great movie. It's an 8 out of 10, but Psycho is a 10 out of 10. And I just feel like Vertigo is just a bit overrated. A film that I like that critics didn't really think was good is Bohemian Rhapsody. I love Queen, and I like Bohemian Rhapsody. I thought it was really good. I still think Black Klansman should have won Best Picture, but I really like Bohemian Rhapsody, even though critics didn't like it that much. That's all I have to say. With all these Stephen King books that have been coming out as movies, you know, such as Shawshank Redemption, not a lot of people know that he wrote that. It, Chapter 1 and 2, The Shining. I feel like one that gets lost in the mix is Misery. Misery is very, very good, and people should watch. Like, I feel like Misery should be regarded like along with The Shining and It. It's really, really good. The best horror slasher in my opinion is Michael Myers. The thing about, like, I'm gonna stick to Michael Myers Halloween 1, like the first Halloween film for this one, because that's the one I consider the best. I'm not saying there's different versions of Michael Myers, but he's played by different actors along through the series, and he changed a little bit, but I think the best one is Halloween 1, Michael Myers. I like how he doesn't, spoiler alert, jump to this time on the screen if you haven't seen Halloween yet. And trust me, just skip to that part of the video. Halloween's that good. Watch Halloween. But spoilers, here we go. He doesn't really kill anyone to the last, like, the third act of the film. I like how he just stalks Laurie and her friends throughout the film. He's making himself known. He's becoming a presence in the film. And Laurie and her friends, like, know he's there, but they don't realize that he does any harm until the last third act of the film, where they're like, oh my god, this guy is crazy. I think one day Hollywood is going to start remaking classics like Casablanca and Gone with the Wind. Just like Disney is remaking all of their hit films, I feel like one day Hollywood's going to be like, hey, why don't we remake some of our classic films like Casablanca and Gone with the Wind? I heard a rumor that Gone with the Wind was supposed to be remade in 2017, but that didn't happen. I feel like, I don't know what happened, but that's just a rumor I heard. Don't quote me on that, but one day Hollywood's gonna be like, we gotta remake all of these. I don't understand how Shark Tale got nominated for Best Animated Feature. Shark Tale is trash. Trash. Now, I don't know her name, but the woman who directed The Babadook can't possibly be one of the best film directors ever. She keeps her craft up. I did not see the second film that she made, but The Babadook was her directorial debut for her, and it was a 10. And to me, it's 10 out of 10. A directorial debut is a 10 out of 10. The only other film that has done that is Citizen Kane, and Citizen Kane isn't even a 10. It's like a 9. I feel like Psycho should get a remake. Does it have to be good? No, but the one with Vince Vaughn was horrible, and I feel like it should get another chance. If Black Christmas is getting a remake, come on. Please give me just one more Psycho remake. Just one more, please. Unpopular opinion. A movie that critics didn't like, but I really like. Glass. I really like Glass. That's all. I like Glass. Okay. Toy Story did need a 4th movie, but it did not ruin the series. People let 3's ending foreshadow the entire trilogy. Toy Story is not automatically ruined with the existence of 4, and it did not ruin the series. Did it need to be made? No, it was definitely a cash grab, but it did not ruin the series. Yeah, I feel like it progressed the series forward. Princess Leia should have been killed off in Star Wars Episode 7 or 8. Carrie Fisher's dead. Are they gonna kill her off in 9? I don't know how they're gonna. Are they just gonna CGI? Please don't CGI her entire body, please. In my opinion, I think Chris Stuckman is the best film critic on YouTube. I would be perfectly content if the MCU ended after Endgame. If they're like, hey, we're gonna make MCU movies up until Endgame, then we're done. I'd be like, I'm content. That was a good ending. I'm happy with it. I'm glad they are making more films. I hope they're just as good as their other films. I hope they don't plummet. I don't think they will. But if they did end after Endgame, I'd be fine with that. Films would be so much better overall if people stopped making them for money and actually put a lot of care and effort into all their films. Like, every movie ever would be so much better if people just took the time to make them and actually care about them and not just make cash grab films. Scream is the best horror film for horror fans. It's funny, it's self-referencing, it's just everything. It's a horror movie in a horror movie. Like, it's just the best horror film for horror fans. I don't think the original Friday the 13th is really anything great. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's a good movie. I like it. It's just crazy that that film has warranted a bunch of sequels when it wasn't really anything that great. It was good. It was good. That's really it. The Emperor's New Groove is hands down the most underrated Disney film. Honestly, watch this. It's so funny. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm talking about a lot of 10 out of 10 films in this list, but watch it. It's so good. The DC films are on a decline, and I don't think that they're going to be around much longer if they don't get better. I don't know if Joker is part of the DC films. If so, it's hands down the best DC film. I don't think it is. It's not, right? Is Joker part of the DC? It's not part of the DC universe. Movies like Batman v Superman and the Justice League are part of the DCU, and if they just try to do as good as, they're just not doing as good as Marvel, and if they don't get better, I don't think the DCEU is gonna be around much longer. In my opinion, I don't think Saw has ever been a good franchise. The first film was good, the second film was good too, the third film was alright, and the rest were just bad. The rest are bad, and there are more films being made. Like, Saw is not done yet. Another very underrated horror film that has come out in recent years is Hush. Honestly, people should watch Hush. It was really good. Oh, I just thought this right now. Does 10 Cloverfield Lane count? 10 Cloverfield Lane, if that counts as a horror film, I feel it's like a horror sci-fi. 10 Cloverfield Lane is also very, very underrated. Go watch Hush, Lights Out, and 10 Cloverfield Lane. Speaking of horror films, they need to push the boundaries more. I want horror films to, like, get even scarier and scarier with time, not just dependent on gore. Like, I want people running out of the audience, like in The Exorcist, and like, I want horror films to push the boundary more. Come on, horror films, I know you guys can do it. This is a very unpopular opinion. The Passion of the Christ is not good. It's bad. I think the emotional value is there, but it's a bad movie. I'm sorry. People need to stop judging Up by the first 10 minutes. Up is a great film, but people let the entirety of it overshadow it by the first 10 minutes. They are masterful. They're masterful in where the storytelling, but people need to stop judging up entirely by its first 10 minutes. Thank you all for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. I come out with videos fairly often. If you like this, please let me know down in the comments or just leave a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.